everyone, I'm Charlotte Strong with Strong Art Creations. So this is my book. It's available on Amazon.com and it's Painting with Epoxy Resin, How to Get Started in Resin Art, Tips, Techniques, and Troubleshooting. And it's filled with information on using resin for art. There's information in here, step-by-step instruction on using resin for painting, including materials list, safety tips and techniques, how to be safe with resin, which is very important, resin colorants, creating cells with resin. There's a whole section on using oil paint with resin, a whole section on a troubleshooting guide, which in the troubleshooting guide there's information on dimples and pits in your resin, yellowing in resin, what happens and what to do if your resin has aged or has gotten old, and how to use resin when it's cold, when the temperature is cold. So I'll just flip through and show you some of the sections. There's information on studio setup, information on mixing your resin, information on adding colorants to resin, including how to mix pigments into the resin and how to mix oil paints into resin, how to mix your acrylics into resin, including dyes and tints and all sorts of colorants. A section on creating cells, different ways to get cells in resin. Whole section on resin painting techniques. Very comprehensive troubleshooting guide. And there's a resources section with a whole resource list on where to purchase supplies. And in the back there's a section if you decide you want to sell your resin art, information you might need on photographing resin, pricing resin art, where to sell your resin art. There's a bunch in this book. I'm going to get started doing some resin painting today. I am going to be working on creating cells in resin, and I'm going to go into that video now. So I will see you in a minute. I'm going to be working on this 12 by 12 canvas, and I'm going to be creating some cells in the resin. I'm using Art and Glow resin, and I'm also using Art and Glow pearl powders. And I have silicone that I'm going to be using to create the cells. It's treadmill belt lubricant in spray form and also just in this little squirt bottle that I'm going to be using. This canvas has been pre-painted with oil paint. I just was working on a canvas piece and I had leftover paint on my brush. And I often prepare canvases using leftover paint in both acrylic and in oil. So this one got the oil paint. It was a pre-gessoed board, cradled wood panel, so it was already primed. I'm just working to get the colored resin on the canvas. No particular pattern. Because I'm going to be moving it around and scraping it around and using a heat gun to blow it around. This is a hair dye applicator tool made of silicone. It works great for spreading around resin on the canvas. So instead of spraying it on, I think I'm going to just drop it on. Wherever I drop, cells will be created. I also have some Resi-Blast. Drop some Resi-Blast right in here. Resi-Blast gives nice round cells, and silicone gives different shapes. Some of them are round and some of them are, oh okay, Resi-Blast is going in different shapes as well. They started out round. I'm gonna stop there with the silicone because I think that's good. See you next time.